welcome you all for the next session. This session will be on the financial applications of the softwares that you have learned so far. For this session, our session host will be Dr. Sreenu. He is a prominent faculty having immense experience, starting his journey from Indira Gandhi National Tribal University and then continuing in National Institute of Technology. He is also a prominent research fellow at University of Economics, Ho Chi Minh City University, Vietnam. He uh, he has several projects under his supervision, focusing mainly on the rural infrastructure, macroeconomic development, and infrastructure development. Sir is a prominent researcher, having 54 papers of repute, out of which 30 of them are in Q1 and Q2 index journals. His main areas of specialization are green finance, fintech, infrastructure finance, accounting, and energy management. Over to you, sir. We welcome you to the session.
Yeah, thank you. I think my voice is audible to you, everyone. Yeah. So I think you might have learned about the SmartPLS and AMOS from last 6 to 7 days. And now for basically we are going into financial research applications. I mean here not specified into for financial research application. Maybe if you are taking into marketing or HR or operation, whatever it may be, for all aspect is more useful for the SmartPLS and AMOS. See, what I will precise to you that basically now emphasize on that how we are constructing the model and how we are designing the model and yes, constructing the equation. That two things. Sorry. Yeah. So, okay. So first two things we'll keep on mind, and already have sent you that raw data table. That raw data completed is the dummy values. You don't think it that is a original value, and already have sent one paper. I mean, see, maybe different component, different aspect you have learned based on the SmartPLS and AMOS. Now very precisely we'll go that based on financial application or maybe marketing application. Generally, financial application or financial secondary data, it will not support to the SmartPLS and AMOS. But see, now which you are going into behavioral finance aspect point of view, maybe we are collecting based on field study. That field study only, it will not support at all to that Likert scale data in financial management related only. See, only it will support if either if condition or maybe false or true base. Mean you don't think false or true base as a dichotomous scale. But here, very two things we have to importantly remember that here. First, here, when if you are going into any kind of research, either primary database research also, we have to go into design the model, then construct the equations. If you are not able to properly construct the any kind of equation, it will not support to what you have designed the model. But generally, majority of research, we are seeing that in SmartPLS and AMOS only based on only designing the model. See, that's why as a reviewer, he will not recognize that much validity and authenticity. Maybe, see, if you are taking into in first day to up to 6th day, you might have learned maybe certain based on only primary data analysis. But here, which I have provided you that in Excel sheet data also completely that is dummy values. Maybe that also which you have designed into as a Likert scale based. But here, what I am going to indicate here. Yeah. So here, see, I don't want to give much focus on the future of SmartPLS in financial studies. How much in primary based future will be there, same thing it will happen into that in primary data as well as in other stream also. So here basically I will go into that. Anyhow, we have to go that practical things. See, very importantly, methodological framework is a very important. Mean what you are designing the model, what you are constructing the equation, it should be very appropriately you have to give into that. In by default, when you are constructing the equation, very four things it will be common. One is the alpha, beta, gamma, and error term, summation, E kind of things. I mean, these things will be there. And here, maybe previous classes also you have learned that major things, 5 type of variables. One is dependent, independent, moderate, mediate, and control. See, this variable either is required in primary data as well as secondary data. Depend on your research. Majority of here, maybe hopefully, I think that here also those who are sitting offline, online, very few people you can see that is as a secondary data. Maximum people, they are depending on the primary data. So, if you are going into primary data for sake of publication of the research is better. But if you are going into designing the model, same way we have to go that. See, and maybe some of the here online, offline participant also, they have asked the question related virginality issues. When it will come into virginality issue, some on the day in first day or second day, I have heard that maybe if you are Cronborn alpha, maybe 90% what it will happen. See, 90% that is the matter here. See, either data, either fake, 100% fake also your data if you are giving which of that dummy values, fake values. N number of items if you are increasing, automatic your Cronborn alpha reliability it will be increase. See, that's why very difficult to rely on the primary data. So what you have to go that any kind of data, primary based data, if you are going into based on if condition, you have to structure the questionnaire based on if condition. If we can understand what is the psychology of the one beneficiaries or maybe target audience, that we have to follow very, very importantly. And here maybe in financial data, cross validation always is a wrong. You don't think into that. Generally, we are basically three kind of data will be there. One is time series data, one is panel data, one is the cross-sectional data. If you are going into either, only we have to believe on time series data, maybe it will give very accuracy and very authenticate information to based on that only your financial information related data. Entire whole thing I can show you that in SmartPLS only how we have collected the information simply. Maybe I am not focusing into how to draw your PhD thesis and that based on only you have to take into based on maybe three objectives will be there. One objective based on one research paper. Second objective is a two paper. Third objective is a three paper. But based on specific how we are developing the research paper and how I have developed the one paper, I can show you that based on that in financial data, any kind of if you are going into cross validation, always it will give one kind of question mark. You don't go into that cross validation. Why? Because that highly authenticated information which you are publishing into that in provided authenticated. So generally, if you are going into semi-prons, we are going into that. Bloomberg, if you are going into that, and World Bank data bank, either those who are working on maybe marketing, HR, maybe finance and econometrics, maybe operation in supply chain, you depend on the secondary data also. Maybe that data it will provide into that World Bank data bank source based on World Bank data bank. You have to go that. And here, particularly which you have developed into that paper, understanding the cross validation, generally, if you are going into maybe very few people you are using into machine learning and artificial intelligence, maybe based on Anaconda software, Python, very difficult for us. So you don't go into in deeper to deeper. See, for sake of how we are going to publishing present, once after publishing your paper, after submitting the PhD thesis, then you can go into that. See how this understanding cross validation, very importantly, it will give into that how we are subsetting our subvariables. Subsetting subvariable, what are the main variable to subvariable, how we are determining the relation, that particular point of view, you have to go into that cross validation. But here, application of the financial market, very, very importantly, we have to consider into that how based on here. Application of the financial market mean generally we are going into sentiment analysis we have to go into. Or how that peer-to-peer level it will follow into that. What are the basic pattern will be there? Suppose if you are going into investor psychology, if you are classifying into that different category will be there. If you are taking into mutual fund related, many kind of sub classification will be there. In that, individual investor, how he is going to investing into that, based on that, understanding his psychology is very difficult. In that case, only we have to go into that Python software. Based on that only, see, now if you are going into many kind of apps will be there. Maybe stock market related apps, maybe Bitcoin, cryptocurrency related app, how they are going to predicting into that based on only machine learning. Machine learning, maybe it will fluctuate into that how we are capturing data and psychology of the one investor or maybe target audience. That is very, very important component. I can say that based on that, what is the major significant value will be there? That significant value you have to consider in your research. Then we have to evaluate this same thing. And Again, see here, very precisely we have to understand into that. Maybe how many AMOS lecture we have completed, any that data, maybe 1 or 2 or 4, 5 classes you might have completed. Very, see here, SmartPLS and AMOS is a similar way, but only minor definition will be there. Differences will be there. See here, what is that? When if you are using into that in structure equation, same way, what is the confirmatory analysis and exploratory analysis? Basically, we have given into that. I don't want to go again deep explanation and exploratory and confirmatory this. And categorically, they have classified into that which SmartPLS is supporting and AMOS in which tool they are supporting. Based on that, see if you are using into any kind of structure equationing modeling, based on variance based, it will support into that maybe AMOS. Covariance based, maybe it will support into that SmartPLS. But you all are based on primary data workers, so you have to classify it into that. Either what is range will be there. Maybe if you are giving into range, generally if you are going into a Likert scale based, if you are going into simply we are giving into 5 range. In 5 range, proportionate average value, it will come only 2. So in that case, very difficult issue will be there. In that case, what you have to follow that, what make into that based on your emotional intelligence, how that designing the scale will be there. Based on, we have to follow which tool is more useful and how it will working on that. And similar way, model comparison and evaluation pattern also. How we are evaluating the model and what are the different application it will support to that. Maybe if you are going into cross validation, predictive ability, how it's going to performing based on their influencing. So we have to understand into very categorically when before designing any kind of, see, first you get that paper based only or maybe designing questionnaire. This based on 5 type of variable you have to classify it into that: dependent, independent, moderating and controlling and mediating. Based on that, if you are cross correlating or maybe you are intersecting any kind of variable, what is overall impact will be there. Maybe SmartPLS is more useful into either AMOS and SmartPLS. And these are the different things we have to follow that. Based on that, in finance application, not only finance, I can say that maybe which is the based on secondary as well as primary, if you are taking into operations, supply chain management, and which is the published information. Not only you think it is a marketing and maybe HR only completely as a primary data. That is 100% is a wrong concept. If you are going into what are the variable you have identified, World Bank data bank is open source, but data may be clumsy kind of data they will give. Based on maybe we have to use into different kind of tools and we have to synchronize enter whole information. Based on variable, you have to synchronize the enter whole information and you make into, and suppose some variable related maybe annual data will be there. Suppose if 10 years annual data, maybe if you are going into time series or maybe panel data, mean 10 observation, very difficult to calculate the information, which is that 10 years data, annual data will be there. You can split into either monthly wise or quarterly wise, either half yearly wise, or maybe according to that, and try to increase your n number of observation. See here, based on here, measurement model, how measurement models will be there, and structured model and testing mediating effect. See, either primary data will be there, secondary data will be there. First target thing is, first we have to do that, design the model. Design very simple. Everybody they can know it. If you are thinking into in maybe PG student also they can design into that. But one idea based on your research, based on your research. Suppose one paper, one objective related, you have designing that certain thing, how variable you have defined into that. Suppose I am as a one entity, you are my sub entity. All sub entity, how you are depending on me. How much I am independent. Means simply you will take into A4 size paper, you can design into that. What are the main factor? What are the sub factor? What are the entity? That is entity called as a latent variable. Latent variable either you can use into that in AMOS only, very difficult to using into that in SmartPLS. So we can know that here. In after that, when you are going into practicality, so here, if you are going into structure model, SmartPLS, it will help for only, AMOS, it will help for only structuring the model. And if you are going into measurement model, it will possible in SmartPLS, and you can structure model also, it can possible in SmartPLS. That is the maybe better version, I can say that. Only specific minor modification is required in AMOS, and this is the testing mediating effect. Generally, we know that bootstrapping related, what is the direct effect will be there, indirect effect relation will be there, entire whole thing we have understood. So very importantly, any kind of measurement model will be there, you have to take into what I have given in my precise value level, and here coefficient of determination, entire whole the predictive relevance, how much will be there, anyhow we will know that in table value. Yeah, this is very qualitative and quantitative. But here, some category of the researchers, they think that we are qualitative based only. But if you are going into all marketing and HR and other maybe theoretical which they are developing, sir, we are qualitative research. When you are designing into Likert scale, it will numbering into quantitative, it will come. So you don't go one kind of wrong direction and wrong maybe way. Everybody will be there. How we are designing the model, based on designing model, it will work out. And what are the quantitative and qualitative things will be there. Maybe how we are analyzing the based on your interpretation. Maybe after 7-day workshop, you understood that within a second, maybe 3 seconds, you can do the data analysis. Everybody, you have designing into that. Maybe model 100 kind of models will be there. If you are going into individual, I will ask na, maybe one objective related, mean how many hypotheses you are going to test. Maybe 5 hypotheses will be there. In SmartPLS, almost you have to 5 model you have to design. Based on one model, you cannot test the hypothesis. Na? So individual model based, you have to design the hypothesis. Maybe I can show you that, but maybe if your complex model, if you are intersecting will be there, based on one model, maybe 4 to 5 or 6 hypotheses also you can test it. But maybe it will go into very complex in one PhD thesis. But research paper, you can do it that. But here, what are the strengthening and weaknesses will be there? We can know that based on only secondary based and primary based, we can understand that. These are the, I don't want to give into that. SmartPLS only variance based, AMOS only covariance based. Already initial level only have informed you that. And now how we are considering the model based on model. See, before maybe those who are PhD student, I am informing more that when if you are going into your full-fledged data collection, you have to design that what are the, maybe one statement will be there. Based on statement, what are the certain subvariable will be there, entities will be there. Those statement, subvariable and entity, either it will influence on your main variable. That main variable, it influence as a statement of the problem. See, how based on how from literature review that statement of problem you are identifying, with individual one statement of problem, how you are designing as a, how you are extracting as a subvariable. Entire whole thing, it will reflect into that even your literature review. I don't want to more focus. And here, just this is also, yeah, this is very, very importantly. See, maybe independent variable is a investment. Dependent variable is a risk. Only I am taking one factor. Such kind of thing, hundreds component you can take into that. When 100 components you can retrieve into that, if you are doing into in-depth analysis, mean research analysis, mean literature review. See, generally nowadays, if you are following into literature review completely based on you go for the bibliometric analysis. Bibliometric analysis, it will give that particularly your research area related only how many variable you have identified. Those variable you can consider into that your research, maybe statement of the problem as well. That statement of the problem, you can design your hypothesis. Maybe any kind of thing will be there, which you are taking into dependent into independent, or depending into control, or independent into that moderating, independent into that mediating. Whatever it variable, if you are taking into that, how that result influencing on the your main factor, that is the very, very importantly, I can say that. See, this way we have to construct. Now, these are the basic path analysis. Now, straight away I am going into that. Just I'm opening SmartPLS. Put your move. Yeah. Just you can say come SmartPLS. Share. Shares. I don't want SmartPLS already have open. Yes. Sure. Yeah. So already everybody have received the which have sent the data. Got it? And maybe paper also we have that. What is that paper which you have gained into that? Maybe just I will open that paper also. See, this is a paper. What is that paper? Influence of the fintech and financial knowledge and sustainable business success, exploring the mediating effect of the financial accessibility. See, this is the simple I have done into that. Maybe you are, if you are thinking into in your questionnaire, maybe statement, minimum 10 statement will be there. In here, only I have taken into one statement. What is statement? I am taking into fintech and financial knowledge. How this two thing, how much it will affect on the success of the one business. And one thing, mediating effect I have taken into financial accessibility. See, financial accessibility will be there. Financial accessibility will be there. Simple, you can follow into that. In your research, either any kind of research will be there. You have to think into at least 3 to 4 variable. Simply 3 to 4 variable I have put into that in my object, my title of the paper. What is my title of the paper? Simple. If you are taking into two kind of things, you will take into in your main statement of the variable. Sub variable, you can leave it into that. Actually, I have taken into 3 variable. What is the fintech? Second one is financial knowledge. Third one is mediating effect I have taken into financial accessibility. How these two things is working? Either if I have that financial accessibility, how I am going to strengthen my fintech, financial technology as well as financial knowledge. If you have financial technology, if you don't have financial knowledge how to use, how can very difficult to success the business. So what I have done into that, basically if you are coming into this paper here, at end of the paper, see, I have taken into an index. See, what is the index into that here? I have taken into firm size 1 to 100, 200 to 400, and here integration of fintech. Sub variable I have taken into that how many? 7. 7 sub variable, how it will influencing on the main integration of fintech. Again, if you are taking into extent of the financial knowledge, actually I have financial knowledge or not. How we are going to find this thing? See, that's why I'm very, before going into your literature review, you have to go into bibliometric analysis. In bibliometric analysis, what it will happen into that? What are the major research it has done? What are the main key variables will be there? Based on key variable, you will bring and you can construct the one paper. See, enter whole key variables, it will come into your literature review. Based on your literature review, you are identifying the problem. What are the research gap anyhow? It will come into based on research gap only that. See, here to that last point, some distance will be there. To reach that particular point, certain parameter will be there. So what I have taken into that, to success the business, maybe that point is the success of the business. With my knowledge, I have only fintech knowledge is there. Finance, how to use the financial technology is there. Another thing, knowledge of the finance will be there. What is required? Financial accessibility is required to success the business. Financial accessibility is there. My knowledge, maybe if you are effectively, I can bridge that gap. That is called the research gap. So here, these are the what I have taken: financial accessibility, environmental sustainable quality, economic sustainability, and social sustainability achievement will be there. This kind of parameter have identified from my literature review. See, you can take into which has dummy values only. you can try into based on your research, you can try into that. So what I have to that here, I can show you to that based on identifying this one, how this model will be there. I have designed into this model. This is the my model. What I have given into that here, IF, EFK, main mediating rule is my financial accessibility FA. And main other outer loading factor, what are there? ESCA, ECSCA, and SSCA. What is the SSCA? Social sustainability achievement I have taken into that, and ESCA I have taken into economic sustainability achievement I have taken, and maybe ESCA I have taken into environmental sustainability achievement. Based on if you are taking into that financial variable, this three component, how it will be useful to me. So how we are drawing the interpretation, maybe analysis, maybe within seconds you can do it. But where you are facing the problem, very, very importantly, how we are drawing the interpretation. Maybe my predecessor also, they might have explained to you that how to draw the interpretation and what are the basic things. I mean, if you are going into either AMOS or SmartPLS, eViews, RStudio, Stata, thousands of tools will be there. But all thousands of tools is not required to us. But to developing paper, only require only one tool. See, but one tool, when we are going to executing that, if you are precisely analyzing enter whole, how you are identifying the variable. Now, based on same model, this is the design the model. See what it will helpful to that. SmartPLS AMOS, it will help to that before going into analysis, we have to design the model. See, before you no need to straight away go into that in SmartPLS, you will take into A4 size paper. You can, what are the main variables will be there? Those variable you can keep into that. Maybe you really, maybe you don't know how you are using these tools. In your three objective, in one objective, maybe you can define into the two papers. Very simple. Based on SmartPLS and AMOS, primary data will be there. Means secondary data, it will not support as a SmartPLS and AMOS. Mean here, based on I have taken into finance related data as a through structure questionnaire. Generally, if you are going into any kind of finance data, if you are going into our econometrics data or any kind of supply chain related data, you have to collect the information based on perspective of the target audience through structure questionnaire. Got it? So now we are going into that SmartPLS. See, first I will design the, yes. So, you know, very enter whole thing. What is the new space is required for that? Everything you know, na? No need to explain. So simply you have to go into that. Any kind of your new space will be there. You can choose the new space related. Got it? And based on that, we have to create one model. So, you know, I no need to explain the model. I am creating Sreenu on my name. Simply I am creating that. So I have to import the file. Already have given into that file. You can import the raw data paper too. Just I have imported the paper. So any kind of missing values will be there. If missing values will be there, again it will create the problem. You can change into either you can go into that. If you are going into in SPSS, what are the missing frequencies there or not, we have to check into that. If missing frequency will not there, maybe your data reliability will be there. See here, maybe your people keep on their questioning, we have reliability. Maybe you don't go in reality version in primary data. Sir, we are in reliability sense. Primary data, you don't think it. If you are giving it to see, I am also doing 2-3 projects here in funded project. Maybe you are sending into that field investigator, either virginally they are collecting information or not. Where is that question mark? But see, but one kind of proportionate integration information is required. Based on, instead if you are going into rural based information, instead of going into through structure questionnaire based on observation information also you can collect highly appropriate. So here, now I am importing the data and now see here, maybe indicator 26, sample size is 349. Suppose if you have more than 10,000 your sample size, what you will do? Maybe maximum 1,000 sample size will be there. In that case, you will collect the data. If you are crossing more than your target sample size, in that case, you have to follow the Chris-Morgan formula. Chris-Morgan formula, it says that your target audience, maybe target sample exceeding your expected value. In that case, through software, if you are going through raw software, you have to go into that. In raw software, maybe which you have given in first day your question, maybe all answer you will clear into that. Mean, generally, how your significance level you are accepting. Maybe you are 1%, 5% or 10%. If you are going into 10%, only primary based data you have to accept into 10% significance level. Mean your 90% originality data, you can accept only standard error of the 10%. See, entire whole thing you have learned in how you are designing the hypothesis, error 1 and error 2. Now, simply what I will go into that, I will create the model. See, based on that, already have shown the paper. Based on paper only, I am creating the model. Mean you can design based on your paper. You know, very simple way. Already you have identified the model and you have to, based on your literature review, mean that model also, it will, you have to identify the problem either your research paper or your PhD thesis. Without identifying the problem, your research is not at all valid. So I have giving into that. First, I will go into that here. 4 components will be there. One is that, what is the PLSM and regression process and CB. Simply I am going into PLSM. So here model name again, I am putting into DMS. So here just I have saved the model. Now already how I have constructed the paper, I can show you that. Based on constructing paper only I am going into that. See here my paper. This model I want to design into that. See, very simple. Designing the model in SmartPLS, AMOS, designing the model and evaluating is a just, I told you that, not 1 minute, 30 seconds. Within 30 seconds, you can do that. But see, if you are doing that much, maybe last 7 days you have learned very effectively, you are not able to publishing paper either in Q1, Q2 journal. But everybody, see, if you are going into YouTube, many good, if you are going into foreign source, that also will be there. But one thing we are missing into that, only how to draw the conclusion and interpretation. But before applying any kind of tool, we have to understand what is the major precise value it will providing to that. So here, now I am going to that very, very importantly, same model I will draw that. After drawing the model, how we are going into constructing based design model, how you are drawing the interpretation, that is the very, very importantly. So here what I will do that, see, 2 factor I am taking into that. One is fintech, one is financial knowledge. Simply here I am taking into 1 to 5. So here I am putting into that here. See, either if you want to type any kind of information also you can type into that. I am not typing, as it is I am taking. And simply I am zigzag I am taking into that. What is the things? Maybe we don't have time, within 1.5 hours we have to complete 2. And after that you can do into that. Simply yeah. So I am taking into same way that model, how I am drawing into that model. You can draw into that. Already have sent you that file. You can practice. And again, I am taking into financial knowledge. Everybody you can try into that. I will come and check. See, these are the my 2 things. What is my output? It will shows into that. Again, 3 variable. Mediating variable, what I am taking? Financial accessibility. My financial accessibility, I am taking as a mediating value. So here, I am taking here mediate. See here, I am taking here mediating value. You can take according to your analysis. What you are going to designing, what you are understanding, according to your understanding, you can take into that. So now I am taking here this one. And my other, what is that? ESCA1 3 variable will be there. how it will show influence to success of my business. I am taking in output column. And ECS. Just if you want to make here size, you can do that. See, based on everybody, same that SmartPLS you can apply, and maybe you can start developing the paper based on your data. Simple this. Very just maybe it will take maybe time to designing the model, but calculating maybe it will take the 2 minutes time. So what is that? First, I want to see the direct effect and indirect effect and total effect. For that, simply I am connecting. See, first I have to this, how much will be there? I can know that. Simply connection. I don't want to precisely use into that connection everything. Last 6 days you have completely understood based on that how you are connecting, how you are analyzing, and how you are evaluating. And depend on my analysis. Maybe you can take your perception also. I have to FA I am taking. And again, FA to ESA also I am taking. FA to ESC also I am taking. FA to SSA also I am taking. And here, this one to this one I am taking. Just I am depend on what I am thinking according to what I am expecting a result. That way you can design the model. Based on designing the model, we have to just you can everybody you can connect into that. Okay. Just 1 minute. Yeah. So this is very simple. I mean, see, not required to same way you have to design the model. According to you can design into that. What see, either if you want to keep into that integrative financing as a mediating, if you want to take, you can take into that. Maybe finance and knowledge if you want to mediating, if you want to take into that. And maybe main factor variable if you want to take into financial accessibility also you can take into that. Simple, you know that. What we are going to do that after that, simply we are going to calculating. Is it right? See, simply we have to go the calculating. Simply we are PLS and ESM algorithm we are calculating. In path you have to calculate that. Simple. What is the how to draw the based on this paper interpretation I am asking to you that. Simply I am calculating that enter whole result it will come. Enter whole result it will come. See, you forget about that. How many values it has rejected, how many values it has accepted, how it will influencing, what is the main direct effect will be there. You can forget about all those things. First, systematically we will come into that. How much values is high, how much values is the least worried about it. Very, very important thing what you have to do that. First, I am going to take into that path coefficient. For path coefficient, what is the path coefficient? Suppose you have completed your introduction, literature review. Then you have designed the model. Then you have to methodology very simple that so and so study it has collected primary based data or secondary based data. And I have applied into to understanding relations between into that these two variable two with based on mediating effector output and how much influencing of the success of the my business. This is your simple methodology it has completed. What is very, very important? Analysis part it will started into that. This is the your how you have designed. See your conceptual framework in literature review. What you have designed model according to your research, you can design the model. You have designed the complete model. See, That way of writing paper also very easy based on SmartPLS and AMOS. I mean, how very simply we are designing into that. Based on we have taken into only 3 variables. What are our 3 variables? We have taken into one fintech, another one, just after that you can classify it into that. Based on your, simply we are taking into only 3 variables. One is fintech, another one is financial accessibility, another one is financial knowledge. Financial accessibility I am taking into mediating variable. Based on my mediating variable, this 3 variable, it will goes into that. What is my success rate will be there. Simple. See here. This graph as it is you will keep into that. Same you will copy and you will paste into that in somewhere. And now what are the things table if you want to keep for understanding? To draw the interpretation. But you don't go all table you keep into that. See, we have design into that based on any paper will be there. One paper based on only one objectives. Mean you have 3 objectives will be there. 3 papers. If 3 papers it have published based on 3 objectives, your PhD is done, completed. The all 3 paper you can integrate and you can submit to PhD thesis. But only one thing important, identifying the variables. Based on identifying variables, suppose one object you will take into that, you can identify the variable, you can add the dummy values. See, not only result, sir, this model is not fit. You can forget about it. Your model is not fit. What you will do? Your data is not supporting. Your factual data if you are collected. So you can give into that. Based on my factual data, this model is not fit. So in that connection, I am going to rejecting particular hypothesis. Based on that also you can publish into that paper. Simply, I am going into path coefficient. Maybe here all matrix will be there. Again here, just what is the path coefficient you can understand here. Simply, see here, already everything we understood. See here. What is that here? Understanding basic path analysis. This things is required. Maybe it's not visible. See, you have to build the model. You have to building the model. What is the already in my paper? Yes. You have to design the model. Based on one designing model, you can publish the one paper. See, you can don't think much time on this. Based on you can assume with the dummy values also, you can first practice design the model. I mean, what kind of basic things is required in that? So here, first conducting the path analysis model based on that, very importantly, what is your research question and variables? We have to identify the research question and variable. See, those who are going into for secondary data is a very tough to publishing the paper. See, which have developed this paper, hardly it will took me only field study, maybe collecting data, except that development paper, hardly 1 week I have developed this paper. Again, if you are going into secondary data, very difficult. In secondary data, by hooks and crooks, you have to fit the model. I mean, otherwise, maybe if you are based on, suppose you are econometric based, if you are going into that, in infrastructure based, if you are going into that, mean, which is the published and recognized data, that is that. Primary data, no one has recognized. That is in your hand. Majority of PhD theses are, maybe if you are seeing that, how much validity, maybe that is a big question mark. But see, factual data previously, our reliability, what is that? Cronban alpha only 0.6. Now they have started 0.8 because of these softwares. But you can construct the model either, and suppose if your reliability Cronban alpha is 0.6 is not increasing, people they have started into increasing n number of items. But you can forget about correlation, regression, factor analysis, multivariate collinearity, other thing you will forget about. But how we are designing that model, either model fit or unfit, what kind of interpretation we are drawing, that is the major issue here. So here, first, very importantly, we have to identifying the variable based on your in-depth literature review. Without in-depth literature review, And here I have seen somewhere people, before writing the paper, they have dropped the abstract. How can it will possible? Abstract, it will come into that after completion of the paper. First, you have to do that based on your objective, what objective you have done, decided. Based on objective, try to in-depth literature review. Based on in-depth literature review, you have to identify the variable. Then you have to theoretical framework, that is called as a designing the model. How your model you have designing. Theoretical framework in the sense, what I have indicated into 5 kind of variables, either dependent, independent, moderate, mediating, and control variables. Mean this variable which you are considering, either really it will influencing into that. See, I have taken into in our graph. Actually, it is influencing or not? We have to check into that. If you are influencing, we have to exploit. If in case it's not influencing, you have to reject. There only we have gone into that null hypothesis and alternative hypothesis. Mean when if you are going into one is accepting, one is rejecting, mean you have accepting in the sense your standard error may be below your target virginality. That's why we have indicating into your particular hypothesis you are accepting at 1% significance level or 5% significance level or 10% significance level. If you are based on primary data, you have to accept only 1% or 5% or 10%. And people in finance data, 1% acceptance also I will not consider at all. 100% virginality is required. Suppose if you are going into Bloomberg, maybe annually we are subscribing maybe 15 lakhs, maybe which is the company based on reality data only they will give, na? And collection data and entire whole thing, it will come into that based on this. And here challenges and limitation will be there. What is that? Measurement error will be there in that. You have to accept into that. See, that's why when if you are going into any kind of research paper will be there, don't stick with only that SmartPLS and AMOS. If you are using in the same paper, you can use it. See, if you are going into your PhD thesis, what you will write in method of data collection, the information has been collected through primary data and secondary data. Again, why you are completely going into as a primary data analysis? See, if you are going into completely primary data analysis, you have assumed, mean you want to make them prove it in terms of publication. If you are not publishing that paper, you have assumed that PhD thesis, part of the PhD thesis, there is no use of your thesis. So we have to follow that. See, certain challenges will be there. To overcoming that challenges is require only reliability. Based on reliability, how it will success rate will be there in your data. That is, it will big question. And this also certain things will be there. We know that entire whole process, how data reliability and validity we have understood, and either model. See, model fit when it will come into that hypothesis. Maybe in previous classes you learn about the hypothesis. What is the hypothesis? Tell me, anyone? That is a relation. You can test the any kind of relation. Sorry? Assumptions you have to prove or disprove. Your doubts. Maybe I thought that maybe if you'll keep on practicing by running, maybe previously for 1 kilometer, maybe I reached into that maybe 20 minutes. Maybe I thought that maybe 10 minutes. Either you will reach into that in 5 minutes or whatever it may be, you have to prove into that. You have assumption, it has there in your mind. Same thing, which is your data will be there. If you are influencing certain kind of factor, maybe you can think assumption. See, if you are attending my regular classes, you will thought that if I will attend this class, maybe I can publish the paper. You can assume. Either how much you have learned, that's only it will matter of the scaling designing. That you have to measure very importantly. Those who are going completely primary data, you are scaling also you have to quantify in numbers. So that numbering quantify purpose, it will require into that, what is that data reliability and validity? Data reliability and validity it will give into that Cronban alpha. Cronban alpha in the sense, maybe how many number of items will be there? Number of items, either it's giving into 100% reliability. 100% in the sense, maybe all item statements, either which you are taking into main statement to sub statement, all target audience, suppose they have to respond to that your questions, either negatively or either positively or either bias or unbiased. Then we have to follow into that percentage analysis. See, very simple for writing up the PhD thesis and writing the paper of the also. Mean writing the paper, if you are going into, I can advise into that, either in your research paper, see, sir, with only this paper I want to develop, it will not possible. At the same time, either primary data or secondary data, you have to learn into that EView, Stata, SmartPLS and AMOS. Mean descriptive statistics in SmartPLS very difficult to give into that. Either in primary data also. Mean if you are giving 1,000 sample in the sense, maybe it will run more than 10,000 times. Mean what is the accuracy it will be there in providing that in summary of the statistics. So here we have to that, then you have to go into that principal component analysis and establish the difference group opinion. See, maybe in SmartPLS, AMOS and other, maybe my predecessor, they might have explained sample 1, sample 2 and sample 3. Mean based on group opinion. Mean some people, they will design into questionnaire 2 types and 3 types. Maybe some maybe student, some may be employees, some may be some teaching. Mean according to your area. In that case, people keep on, we are going into ANOVA. You don't go now, it has gone into that ANOVAs. Got it? So here, now, what we have considered into that, just 1 minute, straight away we'll go into, yeah. This is our path coefficient. See, just, yeah. So what it says that here, you know that already have given into that based on our graphical output. See, if you are clicking on that, what is your composite reliability will be there? Average variance, see here, average variance based we are calculating entire whole thing. See, people 0.7 will be there. Now it has started into one trend into SmartPLS, 0.7 values will be there. It's software itself only it giving into that 0.7 values, it will positive direction, and below values it will be there. It will indicate software itself only red mark. Is it possible into that? Which is your true values will be there. Suppose in primary database mean, if you are getting into, if you want to 0.7 higher than that, what you will do that? Maybe maximum you can change your questionnaire. Maybe Likert scale 1, 2, 3, 4, will maximum you can make into 3, 4, 5. 3, 4, 5, 3, 4, 5, it will come into that. Maybe it will come into that 0.8, 0.9 also. But that way you don't follow into that. First, we have to do that data cross-check, that is the percentage analysis. Based on percentage analysis only, it will indicate your appendix while you are submitting of the PhD thesis. And if you are going into majority of primary data collection questionnaire paper only, we have to submit the raw data. Raw data mean you cannot submit in Excel sheet only. Mean based on percentage analysis, how many number of items will be there, what is the redundancy values will be there. Mean redundancy values in the sense, either any possibility he has reduced or maybe it has given into that categorically classification, either based on your design scale. So here, what we are going into that in path coefficient, simply we are indicating this one. What is that here? ESC will be there. ESC, any kind of path coefficient will be there. Extended financial knowledge to into that mediating variable, what we have used into that financial accessibility to success of your business. Mean what SSCIE has given variable? Social sustainability achievement. How much social sustainability achievement? Already you have gone into that. See, extent of financial knowledge, it will giving one kind of 0.56, but it is not giving into that SSA. You can draw into that based on that here interpretation here. See here, what it says that the path coefficient matrix is standardized linear regression weight that shows the relationship between a variable structure equationing modeling. What is that here? What we are going to indicating here path coefficients. See, Either if you are measuring that particular variable, it will work out or not. So here, effect of the independent variable to dependent variable. See what we have taken into that mediating variable we have taken into in our table financial accessibility. Financial accessibility and our what is that extensive of financial knowledge not at all showing into social sustainability. SSA mean it's showing into that in your table value 0.335 something will be there. Mean how we are considering entire whole value. Either you are see here, no need to think about that, say that my value is low. If value is low, will be there, particular hypothesis you are rejecting. Mean we have to give in that, suppose all hypothesis it has rejected. You can give in further studies na, in your maybe after completion of your conclusion and other thing. So entire whole things we have to follow that. Coefficient matrix generally it will give into that how determining the relations between the variable to variable. In that variable, many variable will be there. Already individually one maximum sub variables we have provided into that. Either sub variable it will work out or not, we have to see that. So here basically statistical approach which you have used the path coefficient, either casual relationship it will determine into among the variable to variable that. Suppose you have done that, sir, we have done entire whole thing, but path coefficient related as it is you have keep in your interpretation. Mean you have done completely, you have developed the paper, introduction also it has completed, literature review also you have completed, model also you have designed, and based on design graphical model already has shown. Maybe I want to keep in my table, mean my data interpretation path coefficient. Mean first if you want to give into that path coefficient, either any kind of relations will be there or not, but relations it will be there only 0.3 mean 33% relations will be there. But here maybe my predecessor they might have explained you that certain relation 70%, certain relation 80%, certain relation 90% is required. But in that case what you will do that, particularly statistical approach using the path coefficient examine the relations between the variables. That variable may be below my value it has showing into 35%. Mean what in the sense 35% in the men my relations is showing nominal. No need to accept and reject the hypothesis also there. Simply you can write simply is nominal relation is showing. In that case, maybe based on after completion of the table 1 so and so table 1 is explore or illustrate into that based on path coefficient efficiency I determining the relationship between the variable to variable, it's showing into nominal relationship is that 0.33 percentage. Mean you have to give into R33 percentage. Simple. See, based on that, then if you are coming into that, I will show you into that paper. In paper, how I have designed the hypothesis, I can show you. See here, first, these are the my entire whole things I have given into that. See, model measurement also I have clearly have taken into in this paper. Maybe this I have used into that. See, this latent variable, it will not possible in that SmartPLS. So if you want to reflect latent variable, you have to go into that AMOS. So see, these are the my entire whole model I have designed into that. Same I have shown. And simply here, just a hypothesis I want to show you. Yeah, simple. We have to follow that hypothesis related. This is theory and hypothesis. What I have taken entire whole my information. Generally, if you are developing any kind of research paper, certain theory is required. That theory may be either you can put into conceptual theory and whatever it may be, depend on your research how it will support. Why I am putting into, yeah. Sorry. Zoom na. Control plus plus na. Where is control? Just 1 minute. Okay. Yeah. So here simply based on literature review, I have given develop into many literature review, many things I have identified. I have understood based on literature review, those who are other, they have specified into that. Ecological modernizing theory have given. Based on, again, if you are going into resource-based view of the theory, RBV theory have given into that. And here, integration of the financial technology. Already some people they have given based on Indian context of my opinion, I have developed into entire whole paper. So here, see, what are the theory I have given? What are the based, what I am going to think into that? See, I told you that either next year, maybe I can publish 2-3 paper in SAQ and myself, I have given challenges. Mean either whatever your research will be there. That's why before developing any kind of paper, thesis, you have to read more. You read only one article. You only read the one article, but very perfectly. Without reading any kind of article, if you are identified in that article one problem, your paper is complete. Simple logic is required for us. Na? What I have gone into that, what I have assumed here in that paper. See, I am taking finance. मेरा पास तो पैसा है. क्या करना पड़ेगी? पैसा है, financial knowledge भी है, financial technology usability also I know that. In that case, what you have to do that? Financial accessibility. वो mediating मेरा success rate जाएगा नहीं जाएगा. We have to think into that. See, based on this, either if you are moderate, it will not fit. All hypothesis also it will reject, no problem. I mean, you can give into that in your interpretation. What I have taken into three component, both three component has influence as a negative impact. In that case, what I have given into that, enter whole proportionate paper, it will not success rate. Yeah. With see, hypothesis when it will come, 100% support will be there. That's why I'm telling into that. You have identified the problem. Some problem will be there. The problem solving purpose. What we will call that research gap now. Once after completing literature review, research gap you have identified based on problems only that. Na? That to bridge that gap, that problem solving purpose, you are assuming I can solve based on that to reach to you. I can come by walk or maybe I can come by bike. Certain criteria will be there. Na? To reach to you, certain parameter I have taken. Based on parameter, I have designed in my either questionnaire or maybe secondary data, any kind of variable related will be there. What is influencing will be there to me and to our distance. Mean to reaching particular point, I have taken major one variable. For one variable influencing what are the sub variable is required, many other parameter will be there. So in my paper only have given into that integration of the fintech. What are the sub variable already have given into that here. See what I have given into that here. Integration of fintech. Fintech has opened for prospect our company and fintech contribution to innovation of our company product and service. Suppose now, if you are going into that all vegetable market seller also, they have started into scanner. If you ask them, he will going to lose the business. Na? And here, extent of financial knowledge. See, if you are either finance, if you are going into 100 crores, if you are not financial knowledge, what you will do? So, first, you have to read the literature review. From literature review only, you have to identify certain problems. Na? After identifying the problems only, you can do into that. So here, how I have designed into that, my hypothesis also very systematically, I can show you that. Mean, very importantly, we have to how you are thinking. Either if you are thinking success rate may be increasing or not. See here what I have given. There is a positive association between financial accessibility and firm environmental sustainability achievement. I have given positive. I am thinking that definitely I will make the success. May socha. Positive, definitely it will make positive. Maybe negative also. That you don't think. Already have determined, maybe I will success. Maybe some parameter it will not support. Maybe you will not success also. Again, this is trial one. See, that's why error 1, error 2, error 3, why we are giving into that? Trial and error. If you are going into in financial method, trial and error method, you have to follow that. In finance only, not marketing and HR. Okay, but HR and marketing people also, sir, we are trial and error method we are using into that. Maybe based on that, you don't assume into that. And second, I have given, there is a positive association between financial accessibility and firm economic sustainability achievement. And there is a positive association between, only I have taken, why I have used into financial accessibility mean my mediating variable. Either controlling mean finance accessibility, finance in my hand. Maybe when is required, I can increase. When is required, I can decrease. So while studying how much your efforts and priority, it will give dependent, independent, same way you can concentrate on only mediating, moderating, and controlling variable. So here, maybe if you are using it in primary based cross-sectional data, in time series data related, we have to follow that all this variable, as well as you have to consider into that in your primary data also. And here, financial accessibility, enter whole thing I have given into that here. Financial accessibility, a mediating factor. Mediating factor. What is the my mediating factor? Financial accessibility. Here, previously I have given direct relationship. Second hypothesis I am giving into based on mediating. See, I am mediating financial accessibility, taking into that in fintech integration and environmental sustainability, fintech integration and economic sustainability, fintech integration of sustainability, social sustainability achievement. From where you have given into that, same. See, for that, hardly maybe collecting information maybe took maybe 2 to 3, 4 months, but developing paper hardly 15 to 20 days. But idea it should be there. Idea it will come only based on you are identifying the problem. If you are not identifying the problem, idea is very difficult to rise in your mind. When you can identify the problem, your one objective related, you have decided the objectives. Maybe HR, marketing, operation, any kind of research related or econometrics, whatever it may be. Based on one objective, at least we have to do in-depth analysis, either 20 to 30 research paper. Only relevant. That paper also, you don't go into that Q4 and Q3. Either maximum standard Q1, second you have to go into that Q2. And Q3 and Q4 paper like a market kind of things paper will be there. In there, nothing it will happen there. So you have to go into that many. That's why it will says that everybody, sir, bibliometric analysis is not related, not only paper publishing point of view, to understanding what are the key factor it has published. That one you have to understand into based on your bibliometric analysis. So here, same way we are integrating into that. See here, enter whole research method, how we have designed into that based on simple what you understand and data sample what you have taken into that and measurement of the variable. I have given into that here dependent variable, independent variable, and mediating variable. Mediating variable only how I am taking financial accessibility, financing accessibility, how it will work to determining the relations between the entire whole factor. Same way. Yeah. So now these are the entire whole things you have given. Now we have to see that indirect effect. In indirect effect also, we have to see that specific effect also. See, sir, you don't tell that, sir, either we have to take in our research only indirect effect and path coefficient. No need to take. I have not taken into these two things in my paper. For explanation point of view, I am indicating to you that. See, what is the reliable things table if you want to take, which is the reliable analysis if you want to take, you can note down that. Not necessary to take that indirect effect and path coefficient if you are going to outer weightage and outer loading. How we are going to determine, see, here I am taking into my data is not supporting. Either when I am integrating here, first I have determining 3 variables and third one I have taken into 4 variables. I am determining how relations will be there. Maybe if you are going into that, in your Likert scale 4, 5, automatically it will increase the value. Wantedly have given into that. This is dummy values. That's why I have given into that entire whole relationship. So here I can show you that what main indirect effect and total effect it will indicate. Huh? Yeah, once I will take question answer. Na? What is that? Has not already been addressed in research 2024, not feasible. Paper published. Mean what?
She read some papers, found the gap.
Uh,
How to find out whether that
I can
gap
give.
has already not been addressed in some of the papers.
Yeah, I will give. Once maybe we will complete. Na? Once I will address to her, you will meet. We will address to you, tell her. We will address that problem. So here, maybe if you are going into that indirect effect, if you are simple, you will take into that. What you are thinking in your mind, you will write. Maybe which you am writing here, it's not that much accurate. If you are going into some books will be there, na? In statistical books and maybe other biostatistics books, if you are following into that, in that very accuracy information they will give into that. See, what I have given into that, in what I am using, this is only related only SmartPLS. But you don't think into, sir, this you have given into, I will use into that in secondary data, 100% it will not work out. Primary data and secondary data may be completely Delhi to Hyderabad, how much distance will be there, that much differences will be there. So here, what is that? When variable it will be there, based on dependent variable, how I am going to influencing. See, I am independent, you are dependent. Maybe C will give 100%, C will give only 20%. This you can 120%. How you are quantifying entire whole information? That quantifying information is a very, very important in your research. Based on that quantifying only, your questionnaire very highly appropriately you can design into that. Without quantifying, sir, I am giving into that. Simply without quantifying any kind of things, you have designed into Likert scale, dichotomous scale, ordinal ratio, whatever it may be scales. There is no meaning at all that it will not give proper conclusion. You have to quantify. Mean 1 to 5 if you are giving, for 1 how much weightage you are giving, 2 how much weightage if you are giving. People, simple, all people they are giving 2, 2, 2, 2. What it will happen? There is no research, simple dumb research value, entire whole dummy value, we can say that. So in that case, when if you are going into quantifying research, you will make an increase into that 1 to 10 range. And which is values will be there, proportionately you can convert into percentage. So here, very, very importantly, what I have taken, when the relations between the two variable mediating by one or more variable. That's why financial accessibility only I have taken, but sub variable I have taken 5. When if you are determining into that, based on it will goes into that. And here, specific indirect effect will be there. If what is the specific indirect effect, you know that. See, either I don't want to go again deep into that X value and Y value, that it will very highly applicable in that secondary data. Mean here, primary data without designing your paper, your PhD, it will not complete. Secondary data without constructing your equation, it will not complete your paper or PhD. Mean olden date it has gone. Maybe they have typists were there, they have given what ideas will be, that it has gone. Now, very importantly, we have to think it primary data without designing the model and either proving or disproving. And secondary data without constructing the equation. So here, when if you are designing the any kind of hypothesis, when the mediator is hypothesized, particular hypothesis, already in my paper I have given into that, which is mediating hypothesis, it will determining two variable relationship with reverse direct positive or negative direction I have given into that. So here the direct indirect effect, the direct effect of the exposure, what are the outcome will be there, based on outcome maybe working through mediating variable either showing either positive direction or negative direction. If see, you don't think into that positive direction, it will people if you show that in negative direction, always they will reject into that. That is highly wrong. See, I am not teaching properly. Everyone they will give negative direction. Mean particularly they are rejecting. What is my improvement they are giving? So in research also, when negative values will be there, in such, that's why when negative values will be there in your questionnaire, you have to use the if condition based questionnaire. If this term, it will follow that. Alternative, what is the term? You are designing your questionnaire. That thing, very, very importantly, we have to consider in your questionnaire. And that again, if you are going into in our outer loading, maybe what is time? Maybe again, maybe 5 minutes I will wind up, okay? Or maybe lunchtime.
Take till the end of the topic.
Oh, yeah.
We have time.
See, very importantly, outer loading matrix. Mean generally people they will keep on putting into outer loading matrix. See, what is the necessary to keep outer loading matrix in my research? What is the outer loading? Maybe I am going into very focus. Last 6 days you have learned very thoroughly. See here, what is that? Generally, same thing. Relation it will shows, but bivariate relationship. Previously, I am taking only 2 entities. Now I am taking sub entities also. I can take sub entities also. I can take into that. Mean when it will come sub entities, if you are using as a if condition, either if you are going into Stata, eViews, or maybe Python, mean through Anaconda software, without if condition, your research it will not work out. Mean we have to see that alternative. See, Government of India, they have started one infrastructure project. That infrastructure project, it will not success rate, it will give in not 60%. Same alternative also is required. Na? That's why if you have Government of India on one particular infrastructure project, they have invested 100 crores, mean if you are not giving 100%, at least 60% success rate, what is the alternative you have to see? Na? So here, what is that particularly which was showing into outer loading table shows the bivariate correlation between constructed and indicator. See what we have constructed this model. Yes, na? And what are the indicator I have given into 26 or something or 39 indicators I have given. See in this 2 indicator, what I have constructed the model. In my indicator, have you seen any missing frequency in missing value? No. If missing value will be there, again you have to go into reconstruct into that. So what it says that here, it used to evaluate reflective measurement model. Mean already in my even the this is my dummy values which you have provided you, but I have quantify into that individual values. That quantify it will back algorithm will be there. Mean first one I have given into that 10%, 2 I have given into 25%, and fifth rating I have given into maybe 5 or 7.5. But enter whole what I have quantified. See, quantify in the sense only maybe 1 to 5 or 1 to 7 Likert scale you have given. Maybe 7 I am giving 85% weightage. Remain I am giving 0.5 and 7 and 6. Cumulative it should be 100. Mean it will start into variable to variable. So here, based on that, how we are determining the item absolutely contributing to assign constructed is there or not. Either in value, lower values also will be there and higher values also will be there. That is the secondary. But here, very, very importantly, loading our primary interest in the evaluation of the reflective measurement model. But are the when we are giving into interpretation and formative measurement model, maybe what is your criteria will be there, you have to see that. Here, what I have given into that, see, in software only it has given into that in particularly measurement model, only 70% already they have given into that. See, particular author name, you read into his particular author name articles, maybe he will indicate into that in your, but he has given in 20 to 20 and 10 70%. I will not consider into 70%. Maybe I will consider only 0.6. See, while modifying the questionnaire and while evaluating questionnaire, I will get into 80%, 70%. It's not possible. What is accuracy information is required? I mean, simply 1, 2, 3, sir, I am giving into happy, unhappy, highly happy. Based on I have given in my mind, in that satisfaction level, it will not work out. But either agreed, strongly disagreed. Based on this, what are the main liquid values we have given? We have to quantify into that. Based on quantification, we have to evaluate and we have to analyze into that. Then it will work out your loading value. See here, again, same thing if you are coming into that in outer loading values also. See here, maybe particularly economic to economic to remain this two factor, it has not supported that much. Maybe if in case I will give into 6, maybe all factor it will support into that. In bivariate analysis, when I am constructing the model into that, what is the value I am going to evaluating, it will indicate into that. So here, very last one, maybe based on that only latent variable score, I can calculate and I can stop you that. See here, what is latent variable values, it will indicate to that. When if you are going into that, see, you know that latent variables, it is a random values. But extensive latent variable we can evaluate in AMOS, not in SmartPLS. See, a latent variable, any kind of statistics will be there. Generally, very difficult to unmeasured values. We are now not measured. Suppose, while if your questionnaire, in after, generally you have to go pilot study. What purpose you have to go pilot study? See, I think, what is the purpose of the pilot study? Can you anyone answer? Reliability. For full data collection also reliability validity will. See, very simple. Very simple. You have designed n number of item, 100 items you have put. All items they have answered properly or not in first level. What is the small sampling and large sampling? According to bookish knowledge, you don't go. Below 30 small sampling, above 30 large sampling. You don't go that. With 30 sampling, you will get into that value? No. But minimum, if you are going to test the pilot study, either 90 to 120 is required. Mean, how many your main variable and sub variable? Maybe in your questionnaire, main statement of the problem, 10 statements are there. In 10 statements, sub statement, in one statement, 10, one statement. See, generally you might have know that my predecessor explaining factor, how we are doing into factor loading, what is the required into minimum factor to calculating structuring model and factor loading. I don't want to explain these things. See, all items properly they have given respond or not. Suppose completely one scheme will be there, Government of India, maybe in Madhya Pradesh also many scheme will be there, free schemes. In free schemes, some people completely 100% they have been satisfied and other people completely they have been unsatisfied. What is the mean that? We have to take such kind of things? No. Sir, we have been completely satisfied. That's why positive, complete, not that. What is the, that's why that particular purpose only you have to quantify your scaling techniques. So here, based on concepts like how we are following into, based on this job satisfaction related, those who are HR people, and in HR only specific people only they can use into that SmartPLS related certain portion. Everybody, see, all HR people, all marketing people also, they cannot use the SmartPLS. Very carefully you can note that. So here, based on that, measuring latent variable purpose, we use the observed variable when the mathematically indicating their direction value. Based on, we have to evaluate their proportionate value. And see here, how to we are going to measure that value. Everybody, you can follow interwhole proportionate value and what are the criteria indication will be there, you can follow that. Based on this criteria indication, this latent variable, based on your sample, it's same copy paste into that and you can show your appendix value, it will come into that. Mean either your reviewer, your PhD thesis evaluator, based on this appendix score only, he can calculate and he can evaluate. And if you are going into your correlation is proportionately will be there. ESC 1 is there, and proportionately latent variable correlation value also, it will satisfactory level it's showing or not, we have to see that. And if satisfactory level, if you are showing into that, see here, in variable correlation refer to the relations between the unobserved group and structural equationing based observed group. You have to see that based on the latent variable correlation. Got it? Maybe it might have, maybe we'll keep on going into it, will go days together. But maybe your lunchtime also 2:30 they have given. Maybe you are also getting hungry, and you can follow that. But simple way you will try to make into developing papers and evaluating entire whole value, you can show that. Got it? And now what are the questions? Please give to that.
Yes, sir. As you suggested about reviewing literature and identifying gaps,
Hmm.
suppose I read some papers
Hmm.
from 2023 and find a gap.
Hmm.
How can I ensure that this gap has not been already addressed in 24, considering it's not feasible to read all papers?
See, that here not year-wise problems. Year-wise data, you are not, maybe when if you are going into year-wise problem in 25 to 26, but based on how you have identify the variables. See, you have to identify the variables, those variable, what is the extension to that they are giving into influence. If influence, if they are giving, maybe your gap, maybe you can bridge into that. Mean if you are not giving into that, again you have to go re-identification of the problem of the your literature review. Without re-identification, see, one thing I can say that without identifying the gap, you cannot write the any kind of research paper, any kind of PhD thesis. We have to identify it, mean how you are specifically you are choosing your area. Based on your area, we have to focus in-depth literature review. In in-depth literature review, mean we have to focusing one standard level. Mean if you want to reach 170% level, mean to reach 70% level, how much literature review it will support. In literature review, what are the problems will be there based on identification problem, we have to fill the your research gap.
60 papers.
Mm.
And from those 60 papers, she has a gap.
Mm.
Now, how to know whether that gap has already been addressed in the papers that we have not read?
See, you can forget to, according to your context, na. See, not requiring to 100% till finding that gap, not required to that. Maybe XYZ context he has given, fill that gap. Maybe what is your context? Maybe someone they can use into that your paper, na. That you can follow into that. Not requiring to that till I will identifying the gap and I will keep on reading the paper. See, if you are read into based on your objectives, maybe 10 papers or 20 papers you are read into that. What are the main things will be there? Then you will start into that, collecting the information, their primary source and secondary source. Still anybody?
Sir, actually, my question is that in case we identify the gap and we try to, develop our own model, and when the results are coming, so how do you validate your results that whether your results are appropriate or not?
See, mean based on you are speaking primary data only, na. That
Yes,
you
yes,
should
sir.
know into, yeah, you should know into na how much you are reliable, mean originality you have collected information. If you have properly have collected information, either that model fit or unfit also, no problem. Validity means, see, generally thousands models will be there. Simply we are going simply only benchmarking only we are Cronbone alpha we are using, but not like that. See how you are quantifying the your scaling based on your dichotomous scale. If you are going into that dichotomous scale also, if you are using it with if condition, Likert scale also, if you are going into that, maybe 7 to 8 will be there. Suppose 7 rating scale you have given, how you are giving 1 2 3 4, how much quantification you are giving, that is the matter. Got it? Maybe seventh one you have gone into that highly satisfied with work, maybe that you are giving 40%, remain maybe 20%, 10%. Mean based on cumulative values, how it will influencing to your main variable to sub variable, that it will matter.
Okay,
Then
sir.
if satisfaction level maybe particularly which you have designed the hypothesis, maybe completely it's showing positive direction, you can see that maybe that is you have to satisfy into that in primary data. Reliability in the sense, based on all PhD thesis, all papers only giving into that my Cronbone alpha or maybe my standard error value maybe 10%, 5% and 1%. Remain originality will be there and you can claiming as a I am original as a version of the research. You have to go your own.
Okay, sir. Thank you.